In my first impressions with the new 27mm f2.8 lens, I talk about my personal history with this focal length. And now that Fujifilm has made a noticeable and considerable upgrade to this offering, it's only fair that I do a complete review and answer one crucial question. Who would get the most out of a lens like this? Oh, I guess I should put the lens here for dramatic effect. There it is. Roll the intro.
But God might be on vacation, and the promised land they ain't never promised. My baby telling me to be patient, but the devil always working overnight, my darling.
The standout feature of this lens is the size and weight, or lack thereof. It's less than an inch thick and just shy of 3 ounces, which is nearly identical to the previous version and hits those metrics while adding 2 notable additions. The XF 27mm f2.8 RWR now has a dedicated aperture ring, that's what the R is for, and weather resistance, that's what the WR is for. While the housing has been upgraded, you still have the same 7 lens elements, one of which is a spherical, and the same focusing motor. This all comes together in a package that feels solid but not necessarily heavy. The aperture ring has great resistance to it and clicks nicely as you go through the range. Go all the way to the left and you have the lock mode where it goes into that A, where you can use your command dial to adjust aperture. When you push the button that's just to the left of that A symbol, it unlocks, allowing you to go back and set your aperture manually. It is beautiful engineering that feels entirely Fujifilm. The feel of the manual focus ring ranges from great to okay. And what I mean by that is, well, if you're gonna be doing a lot of manual focus, when you're making fine-tune adjustments, when you're making fine-tune adjustments, it feels good. It gives you a resistance so you can precisely land where you need it to. So if you're on a tripod capturing something like product photography or macro photography, it feels good in those scenarios. However, when you are in the street or traveling and you want to quickly go from near to far focus, well, it feels like it has a bit too much resistance and it might be challenging in those environments. Here's the thing, it may not matter to you because, well, with a lens like this, how many people are really zone focusing, especially with the fact that Fujifilm digital products don't necessarily lend themselves to zone focusing with respect to street photography. So it is great that this lens offers very snappy autofocus.
Yeah, all I got is questions. I never hold no answers. Bet you sick of hearing lessons from a dude who got no handle. Someone say me, tell me what to do, I think I'm going crazy.
When paired with modern Fujifilm cameras, it's incredibly quick and might even be good enough for you to completely forget about the manual focus ring entirely. The image quality of this lens, according to Fujifilm, has not changed from its predecessor at all. So for all intents and purposes, they are the same thing. Not only do you get the same 41mm equivalent focal length, but the same sharpness, contrast, and color rendition, all of which perform exceptionally well, especially when you weigh them against the cost of this lens. The single spherical element in this lens gives you that great sharpness in the center of your image at f2.8, and as you go to the edges, there might be just a little bit of softness, but this is almost completely eliminated if you're shooting between f4 and f8. When I was reviewing the images, the color and contrast felt very neutral. They didn't skew to one side or another. And because of that, I feel a lens like this would appeal to a much wider audience, where something like the 35mm f1.4 has a bit of character to it. It might skew to a specific and more targeted audience in terms of image results. Whether I was shooting in bright environments or moodier environments, this lens just kept delivering, and there wasn't any annoying flaring or ghosting that was happening, but albeit that's something that we've just come to expect from Fujifilm lenses. Now, with all that said, there are still a few things that hold this lens back just a little bit. All right, so while I was editing the video and trying to figure this out, I realized that I didn't actually record instructions on how you can win this 27mm f2.8 lens. I didn't actually record that. So let's just keep it simple. All you need to do is subscribe to the channel and then leave a comment on this video. That's it. That's all you need to do. I'm gonna go through the comments to pick the winner and then verify that you're actually subscribed to the channel. And we'll pick the winner. I'll put the date up here, but it'll probably be the first week of April, early April, but I'll put a date. It's this date. Yeah, that's the date right here. That's the date. That's the date that we're gonna pick the winner. So go ahead, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, and you're entered. Good luck to you all. We had winners all over the world. Philippines, we did some contests where prizes went to Europe, or prizes went to even the Middle East. So I'm excited to see where this one ends up. So again, wherever you are in the world, all you need to do, subscribe, leave a comment, and good luck to you. While the autofocus itself is zippy and locks in like a targeted missile, it is still noisy. Now, the noise, and we're gonna get nerdy here, it isn't as sharp and scratchy as the 35mm f1.4, but it is noticeable. And when you are in an environment that is very low contrast or darker than usual, or you're quickly shifting from far to near, when it goes through that motion of finding focus, you hear that. And because of that, you may not want to use this for video production when you need to capture audio and you don't want that in your covered shots. Also, if you are in a place where it is absolutely silent or needs to be silent, maybe a golf course or a church or something like that, it might be a challenging thing to bring this lens along in those environments. Now, this is an f2.8 lens, so you're not picking this up if you are, going for shallow depth of field in a lot of your images. But, there are lenses that are f2.8 that deliver great shallow depth of field. This one, it's kind of mixed. You can manipulate the distance between your subject and the background to maybe throw it out of focus more, but a lot of times I found it to be a bit too rough, a bit too obvious, and as a result, I really didn't like a lot of the shots I was able to capture at f2.8 when there was supposed to be some items out of focus. And because of that, this lens caters more toward environmental street travel shots where they're just a bit more dynamic and they aren't necessarily going for this soft, dreamy kind of look. And lastly, like I alluded to earlier, I would have liked the focus ring to be just a little bit looser. I feel like with this focal length and what it's meant to be doing, I would have liked to be a little bit faster just to get from one range to another. There are now two pancake lenses for the Fujifilm system, this lens and the 18mm f2.0. If you're going purely on size, well, this is the one that you'd want to pick up. And if you're going on application, you still might choose this lens over the 18mm because of its tighter focal length and allowing you to be a little bit closer without having to get closer. Personally, I feel like you would have to know more about what you capture, what you do more intimately if you were gonna pick up the 18mm over this lens right here. After spending more time with this lens, I feel like Fujifilm should offer more pancake options, even if they do start at a higher f-stop. It'd be cool to have this good, better, best setup for their major focal lengths that go from narrow to most wide aperture rating and conversely, smallest to largest in size. And a case for that is because, well, the form factor of these products keep that center of gravity close to your camera where it just feels light and nimble. Here, let me show you. It just feels light and nimble in your hand because of the lens sitting closer to the body. It's not weighing it forward or tilting it forward. It allows you to just quickly manipulate and capture shots with a bit more ease.
She pull up, hop out, then she swerve. Do your two-step, your little catwalk, make it work. Make it work, Jill dance. Make it work, strike a pose. Make it work, Jill dance. Make it work, strike a pose.
The beauty of being invested in the Fujifilm ecosystem is that you have a wonderful balance of size, weight, features, image quality, and importantly, lens options. The latter is one of the most common problems that a new Fujifilm user will face. Which lens should I get? Is this 27mm f2.8 lens right for you? If you find yourself as a newcomer wanting to capture moments at home that are candid, or street photography, or planning to capture shots on your next trip, this might be the first lens that I recommend for you. It offers a ton of value, and because of its upgrades, allow you to capture in more situations than not. What may lock this lens out as a choice for you is, one, if you plan on capturing a bit more video content, and there might be an equal or even more of a priority put on video content being captured on your Fujifilm camera, and the other being you just being way more aware, because you might be an enthusiast or a practicing professional, just being a bit more aware of what you're about to capture and which focal length caters to that best. However, after spending weeks with this lens in varying conditions, its neutral focal length, its form factor, its consistent results with respect to image quality, maybe the question isn't which Fuji lens you should buy next, but when you should add this 27mm to your collection. And there you have it, everyone, another review on the channel. I truly hope you enjoyed this one as much as I enjoyed creating it. I'd love to continue this conversation in the comments below. So let me know, is this on your radar? Do you already have it as part of your collection? Or is there something else that you fancy more than this offering right here? I'd love to connect with you all there. As always, my name's Gajan. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.